When you contemplated going to prison if you were convicted, what was it that you feared most about that, if it came to it? You had phone calls, Harry, saying, I hope you crash your car and kill your wife. I hope you get cancer. I hope your wife gets cancer.
And she never once blamed me. I swear to God.
Who else was responsible? Incredible reaction. I mean, what do I call you now? King? King Harry? What is it?
I think just Harry. Harry's good. Harry with an A. A-double-R-Y. Harry.
Do people call you Your Majesty when you walk around the streets, or...?
No, it has been different, I must admit, since I did the jungle. It's a sort of different group of people. It used to just be fellas coming up talking about football to me. Now it's more women and kids who watch the show and want to know about the show. So.
I mean, what's extraordinary, Harry, is that you have managed 1,399 games of professional football. This puts you in the top 10 in the world at club level, alongside Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger and Sir Bobby Robson. And yet millions of people in this country now know you for eating kangaroo testicles.
It's amazing, isn't it? It is amazing.
What do you think it takes to be a really good manager?
You've got to be a good judge of players. Even in the kickabout, I'd get a feeling for them. Honestly, I know it sounds strange. I'd got a feeling for them looking at them, you know?
Presumably, like all fishermen, there's always the one that got away. Who is the greatest player that you cocked up?
Would probably be Ian Wright. I signed a lad called Cole Richards, £10,000. He had lightning pace, and I loved him when I saw him. We played 4 pre-season games. He was so bad, he couldn't have played worse if he'd have tried. So he came to me after the 4th game, and he said to me, Harry, he said, can my mate have a trial? I said, oh, is he as good as you, Cole? He went, no, he's not as good as me. I said, well, tell him not to bother. So anyway, the following week, we went to Crystal Palace. He said, we're on the pitch. He said, my mate's playing for them today, the one who wanted a trial a couple of weeks ago. Oh, is he? I said, well, we won't have to worry about him too much, Cole, will we? So anyway, after he scored his 3rd goal, I realised Ian Wright was better than Cole. But actually, Cole went on to be a fantastic player to me, and he got me promoted that year at Bournemouth. He was absolutely incredible.
Was winning a big game, Harry, was it better than sex for you?
Sandra's sitting there.
There's someone in the audience paying a very close attention to what you're about to say. And if I was offering you some advice, I would suggest the answers should probably be no.
No. Although I did enjoy the winning. Yeah, it was a great feeling. But when we got beat, I could get so low, it was scary. We never made any arrangements to go out with anybody on a Saturday night. Never, because I was no use to anybody, Piers. I couldn't pull myself out of this depression, if you like. It's quite scary, you know?
It's really fascinating. So it really, you know, this was a real, like, emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, the bad days, I was bad. But I didn't sleep well the night after a bad result. Or even a good result. I'd be buzzing so much you couldn't get to sleep after a game.
Either way, you were terrible company.
Either way, I was no good to anybody on a Saturday night.
You dedicated your autobiography to Sandra, saying, for Sandra, while I've been managing all these years, she's the one who's managed me.
Yeah.
What is it like to manage Harry Redknapp?
Really, it's been hard work for her. She looks after me, unbelievable. I mean, it's embarrassing, really. She does everything for me.
Can you cook?
No, I couldn't cook an egg. Turn the kettle on, make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And a bit of toast in the toaster, I can do that. But you know, other than that, Piers, I'm useless.
You ever washed any clothes?
No.
Ever ironed a shirt?
No.
Nothing?
I'm not proud of it.
I mean, there is a word for men like this these days.
Yeah,
Harry.
useless.
It's dinosaur, right? I mean...
Yeah.
You know, they say, don't they, that behind every great man is often a greater woman. Do you think that's
for sure.
true in your case?
Yeah. She's my rock, yeah, definitely. We don't row.
Really?
No.
Ever?
Well, occasionally, very, 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 very rarely.
That's remarkable.
Oh, we don't. She just look at me. If I get uptight about something, she goes, look at you, calm down. What's the matter? You know, and I'll go, all right, you know. And that's the end of that.
And if I could say, right, Harry, go back to the start. You can either play football or be married to Sandra.
Oh, no.
But you can't have both.
Oh, forget the football. Absolutely. Of course. Oh, no, your family is your life. You know, your family is so important, and she's been there for me, incredible.
You would always recognise football people, but you're not so good with non-football people, even if they're incredibly famous. And you once bumped into another world-famous Harry in a physio waiting room.
Well, I knew I'd seen him before, but I wasn't sure.
This is Prince Harry.
Yeah, I went there. Yeah, what happened? I went to the physios to have some treatment, and I sat down, picked up the Evening Standard. There was no one else there except two guys at the other end. He went to me, "Hi, Harry." So I'm reading the Evening Standard. And I went, "All right, mate." And carried on reading the paper. And then I thought to myself, I've seen him before. I swear. I thought, did he used to play for me? I'm thinking, oh, no, can't be, surely. So I went up to the receptionist and I faced me back to the... I said, "Excuse me," I said, "Is that who I think it is?" She went, "Yes." Oh, no. So I went up, walking up. "How you doing, Harry? All right?" "Yes." He said, "Fine. How are you?" You know. I said, "Last time I saw you was when you came to watch West Ham play Arsenal with your brother." He said, "Yeah." He said, "We were supporting Arsenal that day."
To be fair, you are a king and he's just a prince. So, I mean, you know. Now, you had another royal encounter with Princess Beatrice.
Well, no, that was embarrassing as well. Jamie invited me out for dinner. I turned up and I sat opposite this young girl and we started chatting away and we got onto horse racing. So she went, "Oh, my grandmother loves the horses." Does she? Yeah, she said. She said, when she won the Gold Cup last year at Ascot, I thought... Now I'm thinking, who won the Gold Cup? I'm thinking it was the Queen.
Hilarious.
That was another one.
So Beatrice would have never actually known you didn't recognise her.
No, I don't think so. She will now.
What do you remember, Harry, of the crash?
We were waiting to get on the bus with me and Brian said to me... I stopped and started talking to some Irish fans, and Brian said, "Come on, Harry, we've got to go. Come on, we've got to go." And I went, "Yeah." And I carried on talking. I often think to myself, if I hadn't have stood there talking and got on the bus when they were calling me, we would have missed that, you know? But...
Terrible twist of fate. He was sitting where you would normally have sat.
Yeah. He said to me, I remember him saying, it's the last thing I remember, he said, "I've nicked your seat now." He said, you've had it, you know, you're going to have to sit there, sort of thing. So, yeah. Brian was a fantastic guy. He was always there for me. So it was, yeah, for me, it was a horrendous, you know, tragedy, losing him and the three young kids in the other car. I mean, I think there was only about 17, 18, these three young boys all died as well. The
paramedics at the scene had at one stage put a sheet over you, believing you might be dead.
Yeah, you just never know, do you? 1 minute, you know, your life is great. We're making plans for the next day. We're going to watch England play. You know, it looked like being a great trip for us. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, this happened, you know.
When you go through something like that, Harry, does it make you look at your life and think, I've been given a chance here?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, when you're so close to something like that, yeah, for sure. You know, I think you've got to try to enjoy every day if you can, haven't you? It still doesn't stop you getting low in things like, I say, with football. You know, I thought after that, I'm never going to get low again about losing a football match. But you do. If that's the way you are, you know, within weeks I was back at the football, getting beat somewhere and getting low with everything again.
Your injuries were, as we said, horrific. Jamie fainted when he came to the hospital. Sandra didn't make that trip. You didn't want her to be there at that stage.
I said to Jamie, please, whatever you do, I don't want Sandra here. I don't want to, you know, I'm coming home. When I get home, I just felt it would be too much for her, really.
You had some long-term effects. You lost your sense of smell and taste for quite a while.
Yeah. I still can't smell anything, which can be a blessing in disguise, which is quite useful, really. But
you really can't smell anything?
No, nothing at all. Couldn't smell absolutely anything. I couldn't taste anything for quite a while, and my taste it's still not strong. But as I say, it's no hardship, really. You know, what could have happened.
What was life like for you in the early years?
First of all my family were dockers. We lived above my old great-grandmother's house. Then we got rehoused eventually, and we moved on to they built some new estates, which for me was paradise as a young kid. There was a school in the middle, and we all lived in the flats. We had our own world there. We could play football in there. There was no traffic. Loads of mates, you know. Just, it was great.
You were not the best of students at school.
No, absolutely useless. Useless. I went to, but mind you, the school I went to, Piers, I don't think anyone could have come out of there being very clever. We used to have student teachers come in, and within a day they'd run out and disappear. And in them days, you see, if you were clever, you went to the grammar. And if you were useless, you went to the secondary modern. I went to secondary modern. It was impossible. My only interest was sport.
You never really learned to read or write properly.
No, I've never wrote a letter in my life.
That's incredible.
No, I've never wrote a letter.
You've literally never written a letter in your life?
No. If I wrote a letter, it would be like a 5-year-old kid writing a letter. I'm not proud of it. It's terrible.
Do you use email?
I don't know. I don't know how to send an email, no.
Text messages?
I can text, yeah. I speak into it.
You speak into it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't actually type it out.
Really?
Yeah, I swear.
And it does it for you?
Oh, yeah. You just... Don't you know how you work
I
this?
didn't know you could do that.
Got to check it, though, because sometimes the word don't come out that you... I don't want to repeat what word it was. I was sending it to someone. I thought, oh, my God, what... But you've got to be so careful because, you speak into it and it just comes out. It's brilliant.
You were a bit of a clown in the classroom.
Yeah. We used to have a metalwork teacher, and I used to put this, like, wire meche stuff down the back of my pants, and then I'd mess around. And in the end, he'd cane me, and he'd bend me over and give me, like, 6 of the best, but I couldn't feel it because... And they'd go, sir. And he thought he was clumping me. Yeah, that was a regular occurrence.
You left school at 15 with no qualifications. I mean, the prospects, I guess, were you would just go into the docks. That was...
Oh, yeah, fine. But then, at 12, I played for East London Boys at Millwall, and I came off the pitch, and there was a guy stood there. He's some Dickie Walker's from Tottenham. Can I have a word with your dad? I'll wait outside. I said, oh, I've gone in the dressing room, I'm buzzing, and with that, he arranged for us to go to Tottenham. It was amazing. Then I used to go training at Tottenham during the school holidays.
Did you ever think, I wonder what my life would have been like had I not played football, had I become a docker?
Yeah, of course, I think, but your whole life you go through what if, but I'm sure I'd have been happy if I'd have gone in the docks, maybe financially or whatever, I've been lucky. But, no, I think I would still have had a good life.
When you began playing for West Ham, you were getting between 25 quid and 50 quid a week.
Well, there was no money. We used to coach in the schools in the afternoon. We used to get £2.50 an afternoon.
You also were occasionally stacking shelves in a supermarket.
When I worked in there for a couple of weeks for a bit of extra cash, saving up to get married. And I went to the ground, and Ron Greenwood, the manager, saw me in a white overalls, and he said, oh, Harry, what, you doing some painting at home? I went, no, I'm working in the supermarket up the road. Dragged me up in the office straight away. I think give me another £10 a week or £8 or something. So I was well pleased.
I mean, even the great Bobby Moore got a job in a factory for a year.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Bobby used to work. All the players used to go work. Because the wages there were no wages.
Harry, throughout your 5-decade career, there's always been one very important person at your side. How important, overall, has Sandra been to you?
Oh, massively important, Piers. This is my life. When you've been together 54 years, I loved every minute of it. She's at the part with the football and when things are not going well and other stuff,
She didn't seem overwhelmed by the first time she met you.
I'm not that stupid. I've got a mirror at home.
How was it for you? And when you first saw...
Oh, I loved her. I thought, God, yeah. Oh, can you imagine when I've gone over to have a dance with her and her mate, I bet she thought, oh, no, I hope I've not got him. But, no, we just did it. We just got on so well, Once you hit it off with someone, don't you? I didn't want to ever be in it with anyone else.
Had you really had any serious girlfriends before?
No, never.
Sandra,
never.
was it?
First girl I ever took home to my mum, yeah. And my mum was a bundle of nerves, me taking the girl round the house. We had a little flat. She don't want to come round here, Harry, look. She loved my mum. She got on great with my mum. They become great pals,
How soon did you think, I'm going to have to marry this girl?
I think from day one, I didn't think I ever wanted to be without her,
And when the moment came, how did you propose?
Probably nothing. I can't remember, Piers. It wouldn't have been anything very...
You can't remember?
No.
Harry!
Probably says, like, San, should we get married or something? Good idea.
There's word that you speak to Sandra 10 times a day on the phone if you're not with her.
Yeah, always on the phone.
What do you talk about?
Not a lot, really, Piers. I've got to be true. Nothing that's going to change any difference to Brexit or something. nothing very clever. Just, how you going? You all right, Sand? Yeah, I'm all right, yeah. You all right? Yeah, I'm good. All right, I'll ring you later. Boom. As long as she's all right, I'm all right.
I mean, it's an amazing love story you have, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
What's the trick of staying together?
I don't know, Piers. I don't think I could sit and say there's one particular thing. I just fell in love with Sandra and, she fell in love with me and we've just been like way ever since.
Are you romantic?
No, not
You don't
really,
write love letters, we know that.
No, I can't write a letter, no.
Do you ever send flowers?
Sometimes.
How many times, Harry?
Do you know what? It's terrible. Sometimes on special occasions, I don't do anything. Like, I could easily not, I haven't got anything for Christmas. Not that the sales were on the week after, I think. But I could just go and buy it. If I see something that I like or I don't care, she can have anything. Anything.
What would Sandra say is your worst, most annoying habit?
I don't know.
What about the way
your worst habit?
Blowing his nose.
Really?
Oh, yeah, when I'm out, yeah.
What do you do?
I sort of just get my hanky out like that and blow my nose. And then she's saying, we're sitting having dinner, and I keep blowing, she keep blowing your bleeding nose. How unromantic is this?
What about the way you treat her flower garden?
Well, that was an accident. That was... I bought a jet wash to wash my car. I loved it. It was like doing the car, I thought I'd do the flowers while I'm here. Suddenly it went like and all the heads come off them. And I've looked round, I thought, oh no, I hope she's not watching out the window. And sure enough, she's looking out the window and seen me.
You have a special song, don't you, the pair of you?
Yeah, I love you just the way you are, Billy Joel.
Do you ever sing that on bended knee to Sandra?
No, not on bended knees, but I will sing it if it comes on in the car. I'll sing it to her.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love you just the way. Don't go changing. She hates me. I don't want clever conversation. I don't want to work that hard. Yeah, I love you just the way you are.
We talked there about the time that you went to Southampton, having been at Portsmouth, and obviously you got death threats. When you had phone calls, Harry, saying, I hope you crash your car and kill your wife. I hope you get cancer. I hope your wife gets cancer. I mean, the most sickening stuff. Imagine.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
It was really pretty serious.
Well, it was not a clever move. I mean, I loved my time at Portsmouth.
It's just one of those things you don't do, isn't it?
I know, but...
Given the bitter rivalry between the two.
Once I left Portsmouth and then Southampton came, I lived up the road. What, am I not going to work again? Why shouldn't I? I didn't feel I'd done anything wrong, so I took the opportunity. I took it.
Knowing how protective you are of Sandra and the family and so on, did part of you just, I've got to get out of this. This is just not... It's not worth it.
Yeah, it wasn't enjoyable. No, it was a very, very difficult period, And then I did the most amazing thing of all, even more. I went back to Portsmouth.
Well, Southampton got relegated, and then you went back to Portsmouth, at which point the fans felt that you had done all this deliberately. They wore badges saying, come back, Agent Redknapp, mission is complete.
You recognise?
Were you Agent Redknapp?
No, definitely
A secret...
not.
Sleeper
No, I wasn't.
sent by your owner
definitely not.
to wreck Southampton and return.
No, I went there to do my best.
You've become known as the miracle worker, the guy that when all the odds are stacked against a team, somehow you can pull them out of the fire. What is that particular talent, do you think?
You've got to try to instill some confidence quickly in a team that obviously has got no confidence.
You've always been known as well for being able to spot a bargain. Peter Crouch, 1.25 million, sold for 4.5. Rio Ferdinand, on a free from West Ham Academy, sold for 18 million. There was one player, not a bad talented player, who you got on a free transfer from Bournemouth Academy, and you sold him for 700,000. Remember him?
No.
It was your son.
Oh,
The Redknapps are a footballing dynasty. There's you, obviously, Jamie, your son who played top-level football, your son Mark, who played for Bournemouth youth team, your nephew is Frank Lampard, your brother-in-law is Frank Lampard Senior. Both Jamie and Frank went on to play for England. It must have been pretty remarkable for the family to see both these boys.
Playing together, it was a great feeling to see them play together. Yeah, it was amazing, really. So, yeah, it was a big highlight for all of us,
Very few kids of famous footballers ever become pro players. So
very
it was
few.
highly unusual that Jamie...
It was.
...turned out to be as good, if not a better player than his dad.
Better player than me, yeah.
Yeah. When did you first think, wow, he's got it?
When he was about 5. We lived in America then, and I played at Seattle Sounders with Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst. I'd drop him off to school on a normal school day. Oh, Dad, it's rubbish today. I'm only doing whatever, you know. Can I come training? All right, coming in. So we'd go train. I said, don't tell your mum, though. So she only discovered it when she realised he couldn't read or write when he was 15.
Part of the downside, I guess, of being a famous family is everything that happens in that family gets splashed across the papers. And recently, your son Jamie has been through the tabloid ringer a bit by splitting from his wife, Louise. What did you feel about their split?
Yeah, no, I was choked, absolutely. I just could never, ever, ever see that happening. I thought they were going to be married forever. And, yeah, I think me and Sandra were completely shocked when it happened.
Do you think there's any hope they could get back together?
I don't know. I mean, you know, only they know that, Piers, or I wouldn't know. But they were a great couple when they were together, that's for sure.
Did you try to mediate, or was it not really possible?
Not really. I don't, you know, it was difficult, you know. No one knows what goes on behind closed doors, do they, in life, you know. All I could ever see was a great marriage. So it was sad.
Harry, amongst some incredible career highs, you've also had some pretty bad lows. The salient point about both of those things in your life is that you were found not guilty.
No.
And yet, at the time, it must have felt to you like you were being persecuted.
When they turned up that night and raided my house, I was on my way back from Stuttgart watching a game. They've come in at 5:30 in the morning, pushed the buzzer. Sandra thought it was the house alarm going off. She's frightened to death. She opened the gate. They've come in with lights. It dragged on and on and on. I paid all my taxes. It was crazy.
When you contemplated potentially going to prison if you were convicted, what was it that you feared most about that, if it came to it?
Being put in a cell with a nutter. It was scary, a scary thought.
And when they read the verdict out, what were you thinking?
Well, you just hold your breath and just pray, you know, that it's going to go your way. And it was, you know, you're looking at the jury and you're thinking, what are they thinking of you? It was a scary time, Piers, you know, especially when you know that, you know, if I'd have done it, you hold your hand up, look, I try to nick a few quid off the income, you know, try to save a few quid. I'm not a wheeler dealer, it's rubbish. I bought players and sold, you know, because I went into clubs that were struggling to stay up.
How did you celebrate when you knew it was all over?
Oh, well, I had a load of friends who were there and they all went back to a hotel in London. And I said, look, I really am sorry, but I just need to go home. You know, I just went home to see Sandra. We just went out on our own, just somewhere quiet.
By an extraordinary coincidence, on the day you were acquitted, Fabio Capello resigned as England football manager.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted you to get the job then. Wayne Rooney, Alex Ferguson, Rio Ferdinand, Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker. Was a little part of you... damn it, that would have been...
Yeah, of course, yeah. It would have been a great honour to have managed England. And it would have been a great time, I think, to have took the job. I think we had some good players, and I think now, I think the future is amazing.
Great players.
We've got some great players. I think Gareth's going to have a great time with them.
Most of the people we interviewed said that you have got a tendency to have a fiery temper. Do you think you're a volatile individual?
No, not really. I'm not shouting and screaming or flying. Very, 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 very rarely. Only with football is the only time I think I would ever...
You threw a teacup at Luther Blissett, hit him on the head.
Well, I don't know. I think I booted it, actually. I wouldn't have thrown it at Luther. I absolutely loved Luther. He was amazing for me. It flew at Luther and bounced off his nuts. But he saw it coming and flicked it on.
I mean, you have been known to throw platefuls of sandwiches at players at half-time.
Kick them, actually. I volleyed them, and they landed on one of the players' heads, and he was still arguing with me. He had egg and, watercress all dripping down his face.
Well, here's the softer side to you. So you're a compulsive bird feeder. You spend £40 a week on bird food. That's a lot of bird food, Harry.
I know. I like looking at them little robins. I couldn't hurt. They'd come there in the mornings. I was sitting there waiting for me, you know.
Do you talk to them?
Yeah.
What do you say?
I know. All right, hey, Robin, come on, there's a bit of food here for you. Come on, the friend. And they come and he sits about a foot away from me. They're crazy.
Extraordinary.
Maybe I'm not right, I don't know.
Knowing how devoted you are, must have been a hell of a difficult moment for you when Sandra was so ill. You were supposed to be going to Australia, into the jungle, where you would have no contact.
Well, I nearly pulled out. You know, I said, look, obviously I'm not going to go to Australia and do a show if she's not well.
Sepsis, I mean, is such a serious
Scary.
condition. 4 out of 10 people that get it die. It's a poisoning of the blood, but it can come on very fast and very aggressively.
Yeah.
When you realised how serious it was, when you hear the word sepsis attached to the love of your life, that must be a very difficult moment.
Yeah, it was. It was scary. It was scary. I mean, if she hadn't have got the ambulance that night, she'd have been in desperate trouble. So that was a saver, really.
In that few days, you'd have had to consider the possibility that you might lose her, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't think about it. I couldn't... Thinking about it, I couldn't handle that, you know. I couldn't handle it.
When you were reunited with her in the jungle, you obviously feared it was bad news.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then you see Sandra and she's completely
I
well.
couldn't let her go, I know. I grabbed hold of her and just, And then I didn't want her to go at the end. When they said she's going back out again, I thought, oh, my God, I hope I get voted out of here tomorrow. And but I stayed to the end, you know.
I mean, the whole country was watching this, all going, ah.
Yeah.
A couple of years before that, you'd had another terrible incident with Sandra when you'd accidentally run her over.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, I think, reacts that way, but actually it was serious.
Yeah, it was serious. Yeah. It was a horrendous day. We pulled up in a little one-way street. Sandra got out. I'm looking in the wing mirror. I see her go to cross the road. Thought she'd gone. So I pulled forward. As I pulled forward, suddenly I heard, bang, Harry. Cars run straight across her ankle and sliced her ankle in half. Half her ankle was laying in the road. And she fell in the road, hit her head, and Molly, her granddaughter, she's coming along on a bus, seeing her nan laying in the road. I mean, it was crazy.
You must have felt
horrendous. It was unbelievable. Piers, I couldn't tell you. I mean, when I looked at her ankle and it was just laying like, I thought she'd lose her foot or something, you know.
I mean, wrecking her rose garden's one thing,
I know.
Harry, but
I know.
running her over is a severe test of even your wife's patience.
And she never once blamed me. I swear to God.
Who else was responsible?
I don't know.
The common theme of this entire interview is Sandra. You know, you met very, very young. She's been there every step of the way. Sandra is, by way, the most important thing in your life.
Absolutely. I'm totally besotted with her. And I am. And I ain't just saying that. I am. When I leave here tonight, we're going to go and have a bit of food. I just love being with her. We go on holiday just on our own, just two of us. We just love each other's company.
And do you think, Harry, if you...
And she knows I can get bored with people quite quickly. No.
Are you trying to tell me something, Harry? I've done my best to be entertaining, but...
No. Jamie always says to me, you won the lottery. Punch way above your weight.
What now for you, Harry? You haven't been a manager for how long now?
18 months or whatever, yeah. But no, I follow every game. You know, I know every result. You could hit me with a result from yesterday's football and there's every chance I could tell you the score.
Extraordinary.
I mean, I love watching football, you know.
Now you've been made a king, do you think a tap on the shoulder from Her Majesty the Queen might be in order?
I definitely think...
Sir Harry?
I definitely think you've got more chance than me, Piers.
Well, I have less than zero chance.
I won't hold me breath waiting for that one, because I've met royalty twice and didn't know they were. What chance have I got? I'll probably turn up, meet the Queen and go, shoot, sorry, who are you?
When you look back at your life, Harry, how would you like to be remembered?
Probably as someone who had time for everybody. I think that's the most important attribute I've got.
Well, you love people, Harry, and people love you. And
thank you,
congratulations on winning the jungle and on a remarkable career in football, and it's been a great pleasure.
Lovely.
Going through your life.
Seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Piers. Thank you.
Harry Redknapp, everybody.